Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you for stopping by. Political reflection: Xi Jinping is preparing China for a long trade war. As the trade dispute escalates between China and the US, classic Chinese movies about the war to resist America and aid Korea, as the Korean War of the 1950s is known in China, have made a reappearance on Chinese primetime state television. Reluctant to accept humbling terms demanded by Trump to end the two countries' year-long trade spat, Xi Jinping is preparing to lead his country into an all-out trade conflict with the world's leading economic and technological power, just as Mao Zedong sent Chinese volunteers to take on US forces during the Korean War for 4 long bloody years in the 1950s. If the bulk of this agreement is about China doing this and China doing that, that's totally unpalatable to a domestic audience, said one person briefed on the talks in Beijing. But just as Chinese forces ultimately fought the US to a stalemate in Korea by pitting sheer troop numbers and a far greater tolerance for mass casualties against superior American firepower, Mr. Xi reckons he can direct a successful society-wide struggle in the trade dispute. Then talking about the Shanghai Composite Index slumping almost 6% to 2,906 on the day after Mr. Trump's latest trade war escalation. People briefed on the Chinese government response said the national team was told the line in the sand was 2,900. The next day, the SCI rebounded. Mr. Xi's second advantage is a long simmering sense of historical grievance against foreign powers who have previously bullied and humiliated China, conveniently stoked as it happens by the party's media mouthpieces who work in tandem and at the instruction of the party. Frederick Wu, a professor at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, sums up the feelings of many when he describes them as a list of surrender demands for China to acquiesce to. It's a reversion to the 19th century when Western and Japanese powers dictated all the terms in their humiliating, unequal treaties with the feeble Qing dynasty, he says. If there is a decoupling between the two economies, so be it. The Chinese people can endure more pain than the spoiled and hubristic Americans. That's a fair point. Mr. Trump, meanwhile, must contend with powerful constituencies, farmers, Wall Street, retailers, consumers, and a free media, among others, who complain loudly about the cost of his tariffs on Chinese imports and doubt the wisdom of his strategy. Xi Jinping, of course, I wrote about this in March last year, was appointed president for life. It was not very long ago I wrote then that the US was pronounced a hyperpower. Fast forward and you will note that Xi Jinping and his able wingman, Vladimir Putin, have chipped away at the foundations of the hyperpower. September 2018, I was saying Trump is rattling Xi Jinping's golden cage and surely wants to bottle up China in the South China Sea, and hence, I said, the Indian Ocean becomes central. You know that argument I've been making. 9th of July last year, tariff wars, who blinks first, a chicky run, both race stolen cars toward the edge of a cliff. The first to eject out of his car is branded a chickie. 15th of October last year, I was saying that by March 2018, in a Shakespeare-level moment of hubris, Xinhua pronounced this historical announcement. The Central Committee of the Communist Party of China proposed to remove the expression that the President and Vice President of the People's Republic of China shall serve no more than 2 consecutive terms from the country's constitution in one fell swoop. President Xi Jinping was president for life. And I said that was the apogee. And if you stick yourself on a pedestal, everyone can point at you. So he owns this problem. October 2018, the incident with the USS Decatur, where a Chinese warship came within 45 yards of the Decatur in the South China Sea, I said, is surely a precursor. Same time, this geopolitical contest will likely escalate dangerously. Powerful forces on both sides are driving the world's two strongest countries towards fully fledged confrontation. I've also said previously that it's the stock market and the farm economy which are the Achilles heel for President Trump, but so far he's been really smart in massaging, finessing, and strumming the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq. This is a chart of the China stock market. It's lost some ground in the last few weeks. I saw this from Ivan the K. There's a tweet from Trump for just about everything. And in this tweet he's saying Trump is aware of the wag the dog scenario. Indeed, he should be. My article about Iran was exactly what Iranian threats, and I was saying then the level of financial and coercive sanction warfare is simply unprecedented. President Trump has been a big proponent of coercive financial and sanction warfare, and its expression vis-a-vis Iran is its apogee. Bishara, Al Jazeera, these US demands basically constitute total Iranian surrender, not only to the US, but also to Israel and Saudi Arabia. In a telephone conversation, Wang said the US should not go too far in the current disputes between the two sides.